Hello everyone, good morning. So, are you guys able to hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. So, in the last session, we have discussed about V methodology and even we have discussed about Agile methodology with Scrum framework, right? Today, one more time, I'm giving overview on Agile and then we will continue with our next topic, right? So basically, we are learning software development methodology. It's a process, right? You need to understand in the real time how the application get developed. So guys, so far we have seen waterfall, which is a traditional approach. It's like a sequential development. And one by one in phases, we develop the application. But when it comes to the incremental, we have the very popular methodology available in the market, that is Agile. But before Agile, yesterday we have discussed V methodology also. Why you need to remember V? Because V is the only one model which introduce testing importance or which emphasize testing importance more than other methodology. That's the reason V is important. So somewhere people might ask you, what are the benefits of verification? So absolutely, if you start early, you will identify defect early. Verification helps you to prevent the defect. Verification helps you to avoid defect multiplication in the later phases of SDLC. Verification help you to detect early defect and even cost get also saved, right? If you find out early. So there are lot of benefits. And at the end, definitely you'll be able to release quality application to the customer. Because in V model, we can start testing right from the requirement and we can continue testing till the release. But then after V, what they notice that V is also developed in a sequential approach. And because of that, it is only applicable for smaller application where the requirements are stable, requirements are known. There only we can follow V methodology. Correct? So better if we have something as per the customer, if you want to develop any software application, then V methodology is not suitable. And there, guys, we need to understand agile methodology. So agile is having simple agile means same meaning ability to change as per the changes given by the customer. In a short time frame, we are able to deliver software application because agile development it is in the different sprint. Sprint is nothing but iteration. In a short time span, every team member they work together. Developer, tester, BA, everybody, even customer is also involved in every phase of the life cycle. And that's the reason. At the end, you will get a quality application only. So few points that you need to remember is what? First point, agile is a incremental methodology, okay, which manage complete CI/CD process. Means continuous integration, continuous delivery, deployment also. We can easily manage using agile methodology. So agile is a iterative approach and it is not only for software development, but we can manage complete projects also with the help of agile. It is incremental and rapid cycle. Software get developed in incremental and rapid cycle because we have a very short time span, which is approximate 1 week to 4 week. Remember, 1 week to 4 week, that's a time span we are having to implement the software. And that's the reason Agile is suitable where the time is important. For time critical application, we use Agile methodology. Yesterday, we have seen the importance of this development cycle. Basically, process remains same. That requirement, first of all, we need to analyze. We need to understand. Based on that, design development team, they develop the software application. But this whole process, we do concurrently, or I will say we do collaborative. Means it's not like that one by one phases proceed. No. In Agile, in a one sprint only, in a complete one sprint, you guys are doing these many steps. Are you getting my point? These many phases you guys are doing. So here, your BA team, development team, which includes developer, tester, everybody, design team, right? And the customer, everybody is involved. And yes, one more important point in terms of agile, who is BA? BA is nothing but product owner. So remember the terminology too. We can just call it as requirement and nothing but the story. And BA is nothing but your product owner. So product owner, development team, customer team, right? Everybody they involve and they simply complete that action or complete that particular software development within that iteration. So if customer agree the product, we can release at the after one sprint, or there might be several sprint. So mainly agile focus on which principle? These are the four important manifesto. Okay, you need to understand. Agile never focus on any process or tool. Agile focus on individual and interaction, guys. Okay, how smartly you are developing, testing the application. Okay, how the people interaction is there, team communication. Agile focus on that. So working software definitely will be getting over a comprehensive documentation, because we don't prepare lot of documents, nothing. With a limited document, you are able to start your work. So you will definitely get working software early. Even in Agile, customer collaboration we have throughout the life cycle. That's a one more best point. So it's not like that customer is only involved at the time of contract negotiation. No, at the time of starting till release, customer is involved in the life cycle. So for after every sprint, customer take a review. If it is okay, customer accept it. Otherwise, customer reject the delivery. And in that case, we need to again update that particular software. So sprint by sprint, we are developing the software application, and customer is every sprint customer is involved, correct? So responding to change over a following plan. Agile is based on changes only. So here we can't stick to the specific plan. Plan we design, but there might be possibility as per the changes we have to update our process. And for that reason, we need to respond immediately for the changes which is given by the customer, and based on that we implement the software in a short time frame. But in Agile, as I told you, there are different frameworks available. And the popular framework that we follow in software development, that is called Scrum. So guys, in Scrum, few terms, terminology, even process we have learned, right? We have seen what is a Scrum and how exactly we can follow the Scrum framework. So one more time, I'm repeating. In Scrum, first of all, you should know different team member. In Agile team, product owner who is responsible to communicate with the customer, take the stories, all the epic, and maintain it in the product backlog. So what is meant by story? It is a user requirement. What is meant by epic? It is a big story that you can divide into multiple requirements. Okay. So basically we have taken simple example. If you want to design, develop a payment gateway for Amazon, so it's not a one story. To design, develop payment gateway, we need to divide that story into multiple parts, right? And then every different story we need to implement separately. So that is called epic, like something which is big requirement. Okay, in a simple word. Then we need development team, which includes design team, developer, tester, everybody. Those are responsible to develop the application. Then we need here Scrum Master. So Scrum Master is a main entity who will drive the entire agile process. Scrum Master track the process. Scrum Master define the sprint and even create sprint backlog. Whenever sprint backlog ready, then only developer tester they can begin their work. So daily reporting, daily meetings conducted by whom? Scrum Master. So how you guys are going to explain agile Scrum process? You need to explain in this way. There are three phases in agile Scrum. First phase, which is all about phase number one, which is all about product backlog. So here what will happen? In product backlog, product owner who is responsible to communicate with the customer and accept all the stories and epic, and he maintain everything inside a product backlog. So very first product backlog, it is like a storage where all the data gets stored, data related to user stories and the epic. Whenever it got created by the product owner, then phase number two will begin. In phase number two, agile team makes a planning. Okay. So it is all about a scrum plan. And there are two different plannings they do. First, they do release planning. So release planning means what? What is total duration? So within that duration, we are going to release our software application, right? So whatever release it is, sometimes there is a possibility. You are releasing your software application into multiple release. Then those multiple release also defined by release plan. Consider we have 3 months to complete the project. Then 3 months is your total duration for release that particular release. Maybe release 1, release 2, whatever it is. You can describe that. Then within that release, we develop a software application in multiple iteration. And for that, second planning is all about sprint planning. So if anybody asks you what is meant by sprint, one sprint, it is nothing but one iteration. And what is actual duration for one sprint? The actual duration will be 1 week to 4 week duration. Let me add one more point. Nowadays it is customized. Within 1 day, 2 day, 3 day, like this, you can implement the software application. But then whenever total release get divided into multiple iteration, that is called sprint planning. The very first release planning happen, then sprint planning happen. Okay, once sprint planning is ready, iteration decided, then here Scrum Master comes into the picture, and Scrum Master design. Okay, so it is a responsibility of a Scrum Master to create sprint backlog. But how they maintain sprint backlog? Okay, the sprint backlog means committed stories you will get here. Committed stories means what? So total we have suppose 20 story. 20 we can't going to develop in a one sprint, right? So in one sprint, let's say you have one sprint iteration or one sprint time duration, it's a 2 week. And it is decided as per the priority of the customer that only 5 stories you are going to implement first. Then for that priority, story points will be considered by the Scrum Master. The Scrum Master take the initiative by the team, like what are the different story points. So they will just take the measurement that how much time team will require to complete that story. And based on that, those stories get added into sprint backlog. But the point is, whenever sprint backlog is ready, here come developer tester. They will begin their process. And here they develop the software application within that one iteration, right? But once one sprint is completed, then phase number 3 will begin. Phase number 3, it's all about review. But this review is very special. So the name is retro. Remember, retrospective review. Let me write. Again, I'm writing. It's a retrospective review process. So this review is special, taken care by the executives. Okay, they will check whatever problem you might face in a sprint number 1. Same problem should not be repeated in sprint number 2. So it is a kind of process improvement. And this is all about you have to discuss in your Scrum framework. One more point you can add. Scrum Master track the whole process. So Scrum Master initiate daily Scrum. So daily Scrum, it is nothing but daily 15 minutes meeting. Okay. This is also referred as standalone meeting. And in this 10-15 minutes meeting, they will discuss the progress about the project, like what they did, completed in the yesterday, right? What is their today's task and what will be implementing tomorrow. So today, tomorrow, yesterday, this kind of questions they simply discuss based on their product. And this is how in short time frame, they are able to develop the software application. So guys, what is Scrum and what is Sprint? It is a framework. Scrum is one of the framework for Agile. So it is a framework through which we build software product by following Agile principle. Scrum teams use inspection throughout the Agile project, ensure that team meets the goal of each part of the process. So yes, tracking is there throughout the process. Each sprint is divided into its own list of requirement, right? Within each sprint, development team build and test functional part of the product until the product owner accept it and functionality become a potentially shippable product. So in every sprint, whatever stories you will complete, okay, we need to develop it still that is accepted by your product owner or the customer, because somewhere product owner acting like a customer side, a particular person. And that's the reason. Acceptance is important. Whenever your customer agree, then only we can complete that particular sprint. So functionality become, the process goes on till the functionality become as a potential shippable product. Once the product is ready, Scrum team deliver the product features in increment, okay, at the end of the each and every sprint. So obviously, we develop and design software application in different sprint, and sprint by sprint, we deliver the application. So product release occur maybe at the end of the sprint, or after several sprints. So it depends. Either customer want after sprint number 1 application to be released in the market, we can do the same. If customer asks you to release a particular product after several sprint, that is also possible. Okay. Then guys, this is the main process. So you can see 4 important, the components. First entity is product owner, who is responsible to collect stories and epic, and he will maintain everything in the product backlog. Once product backlog is ready, agile team, they do planning, release sprint planning. Then scrum master comes into the picture. Scrum master decide committed stories, and he will maintain sprint backlog. Whenever sprint backlog is ready, then every sprint get executed within duration 1 to 4 week, whatever duration defined, right? And within that duration, development team is responsible to develop the application. Once the process complete, final review will happen, right? Sprint review, where they check the sprint process. Even they do retrospective review, where they check entire progress of that sprint. If they've noticed that some problems, some issues are there, then they will simply, update that plan. And in the next cycle, you should not repeat that same issue or same problem should not occur, right? For that, they will take necessary action. So this is how you need to explain agile model, Scrum framework or Scrum methodology. Clear? So guys, nowadays we have different tools where we can simple manage this Scrum process. We'll be learning Jira, where I will cover Scrum. I will show you how exactly stories epic get created and where exactly we are able to store and maintain the same, right? Now, what is the strength of Agile? The first thing, high flexibility of the project as it is an incremental model. Customer can change. Customer can ask you to develop some new feature in between the life cycle. That's okay. But we can easily implement that because it is a flexible model. Higher customer satisfaction, guys, over the development process, because agile projects are closely coordinated with the customer. Yes, in every phase customer is involved. So yes, high customer satisfaction is there. Even continuous quality assurance, attention to detail, as the quality of the product should be ensured by the testing team from the early stages of agile development. So we design, develop sprint by sprint, and that's the reason you will get quality product at the end. So any smaller application, any larger application with some effort, definitely we are able to complete using agile methodology. But still it has certain weakness. See, in agile, we don't follow any plan, correct? We don't follow any kind of documentation with the limited things. Like you have a story, you can complete your task. You are not going to wait till the SRS properly get implemented, till the plan get properly implemented. No, we can directly start our journey once you have a limited document, means nothing but user story. Okay, one more point. I would like to show you something. So basically, somewhere user story means what? Let me explain that. Okay. So just a minute. I have prepared one document and let me directly show you that one. Okay, this one. See, in the Jira story, I mean, in the Jira, I have prepared multiple documents. So let me just show you what exactly that user story. See, this is the agile term. Okay. So you should know what is epic, feature, user story that we will learning in Jira too. But I want to show you the structure for user story. So you can see whenever user story gets simply collected by the product owner, right? So it is in this form. 3 questions. As a user role, that user could be anything, right? Or anyone. It could be developer, tester, client, or end user. I want a goal. Means here we define a goal, that what functionality that user is expecting from the application. And then the third line is what? So that and some benefit. Means what end user will get from the developed functionality. Now let me show you example. So consider here, I have created this template for 2 different story. Suppose create registration process and create login process. So how the story get designed? Story will be prepared like this. As a new user, I want to have a registration feature in the application so that I can register successfully. So this is how the story get implemented by the product owner. Then they have to define what is the scope of the story, what is the precondition of the story, is there any functional, non-functional requirement, and what is the acceptance criteria. And then based on that, that product owner will simple, or we need to prepare simple scenario, like how exactly the story you are going to complete. So I will be taking this whenever we are learning Jira. But I just want to show you the story pattern, that this is the pattern generally we follow. Okay, so again, it's not your responsibility as a tester, but I would like to show you like how the product owner works and how they maintain the story. Clear? So this is the story pattern. Like this is the format in which, or this is in the same format, product owner prepares their story. So all the epic stories get prepared this way. Now for epic example, let me show you. So if I just go back to any other document, see product backlog, how exactly the backlog gets stored. This is how the backlog in Excel. Okay. Consider this is your main epic. What is the epic read? For a new HR management website to launch, the business requirement is user should be able to log in with admin user and perform HR or user management. Simple. But to complete this epic, let's say we have three stories. User can log in, user can log out, and user can simple go for admin, where they can perform admin functionality. So here you can see, as a first time visitor to Orange HRM application, I want to log in into application so that I can use application feature. And what we are expecting that new user should be able to log. Similarly, log out we can design. As a new user, I want to log out from the application so that I can log out. And obviously, whatever credentials we are testing, we are passing for the login. Based on that, whenever user try to perform logout, user should be able to log out. So somewhere, whenever you are maintaining some group of stories and group of epics, that container called backlog. So this is Orange HRM backlog, which I have prepared in Excel file, right? Nowadays, we don't follow this kind of document, Excel, Word, PDF, no. Generally, it's all about a tool. Nowadays, you can maintain all this information within a tool. And through the tool, you can directly access and you can work. And even you can track the same. Are you getting my point? But this is a basic practice that you need to understand what epic it is, how they maintain, right? So in real time, we follow the tool. So let's understand as per the strength point, what is a weakness for Agile. So guys, first thing is what? In Agile, communication is the main point, right? If we miss the communication point, if there is no collaboration process, okay, developer, tester, they are not working together, there might be issue because within given time, we have to complete the process. So problem with workflow coordination, there is lack of emphasis on necessary design and documentation. If documentations are not clear, sometimes it is problematic if you want to track or collaborate your entire project. Correct? See, the project can easily get taken off track if the customer representative is not clear what the final outcome they want. So customer, if it is not clear with his requirement, okay, every time they are making changes or because of the team collaboration issue, project can easily go off track. Even difficult to planning at early stage because in Agile, there is a problem, right? As per the changes of the customer, we can update. So there is no use actually to plan early. And even one more point, in Agile, we need to constantly take some serious decision. See, we need some professional team, we need some experienced team, okay, so that we can easily work in Agile. So basically professional teams are vital in Agile. So Agile projects require team to make a serious decision constantly so that only experienced software developer, tester, and even manager should be working on the project. Okay, but this is nowadays a complete different scenario. Now you can also work in Agile, but you need to understand first process very well. So yes, lack of long-term planning. In Agile, we don't need it actually because Agile is nothing but as per the customer need, as per the changes defined by the customer, we develop the software application, right? So Agile is a faster development. And then we have to again see that different metrics. So there are different metrics, measurement techniques used in Agile, like velocity graph, burn down chart, okay, burn up chart. So these graphs will help you to understand the progress of the project, how much task is completed. how much project requirement or how much project work is remaining, that you are able to track. So in agile metric, people might ask you what is a burn down, burn up, which are very common. So previously we do this manually, okay? But now we have a tool. So whenever we start sprint, whenever we work in that particular sprint, we design, develop, and test the application. Day-wise tasks get calculated, and based on that, you will get automatic charts, automatic reports. And that is also I'm showing you in Jira. So basically, Agile metric provide insights into productivity through the different stage of software development, right? And it definitely help you to assess the quality of the product and even track the team performance, how much tasks they have completed. So team guys, you can easily track their work, you can track using this particular metric. So there are two special, burn down and burn up. So burn down means this is a chart, it is a visual representation of remaining work. So suppose you have specified that within 2 days you need to complete some work. So you have 8 plus 8, 16 hours, right? But within 16 hours, then suppose few hours work is completed. Let's say 10-hour work is completed, 6 hours is still left. And that you will be able to see with the help of burn down chart. So remaining work that you will able to get using burn down chart. Again, guys, how to create. So these are the manual steps. But now we don't need it because we are using tool, and in tool directly plotting will be there. What is a burn down chart? How much time is left? Everything you will get automatically. So generally burn down chart estimate the effort, track the daily progress, it compute the actual effort and obtain final database, and then it plot that particular chart. But these are the manual steps which we don't need. Nowadays, with the help of tool, we can easily generate these charts. So automatically it gets generated based on your work. Then what is a burn up? Burn up define how much work it has been completed. So generally completed work you will get with the help of burn down or burn up metric, and burn down defines remaining work. Just to remember these two metric. So both burn down chart and burn up chart keeps you informed about the different moving parts within a project, and which is why we are or they are frequently used together. Remember, and based on that you are able to track the progress of your project. How much task is completed, how much is left, right? We are able to track. Now the very famous question, what is the difference between traditional approach and the agile approach? So guys, few points you can mention, right? First is agile is incremental methodology. So it is incremental and iterative. Waterfall, it's a traditional one, which is a base one, right? And waterfall is definitely sequential. In agile process, software engineer is broken into, engineering process is broken into individual model that designer works on. But here, the design process is not broken. It's like one by one stages, we complete the process in waterfall. But here, that complete requirement, okay, we divide into multiple parts, and part by part, we develop design software application. Customer involved early, even throughout the life cycle. Here, customer can see the product only at the end. Customer cannot make any changes. Very simple. Agile model, it is considered unstructured as compared to waterfall. Absolutely. Because in Agile, we don't have proper planning, proper phases, nothing. It's like a collaborative work. So it is completely unstructured as compared to waterfall. But waterfall is more secure or more structure model, because one by one, it is very easy to management, staffing, tracking also. But the point is, here we are not able to make the changes now. So as per the latest demand, we need Agile. Because in Agile, very quickly we are able to make the changes and we are able to deliver the product. Even what it is written here, small projects can be implemented very quickly. But for larger projects, somehow it is difficult to estimate development time because we need some effort, right? We need multiple sprint, and then sprint by sprint, we are developing the software. But all kind of product we can implement using waterfall, mostly smaller application, because waterfall we only follow whenever requirement are stable. But your customer is not sure about the requirement, maybe it is not stable, then don't follow waterfall. In that case, we always follow agile methodology. So error can be fixed in the middle of the product. But in here, in waterfall, basically there is no turning back, right? But now we can start our testing right from the requirement. So definitely if you found any error, any changes, whatever it is, after like when you test the application, then only we can ask a developer to fix it. Remember. So yes, that's the reason it is written that only at the end, when the whole product is tested, we can simple fix that particular error in waterfall. Even at the end of every sprint, user acceptance perform, but here user acceptance only at the end of the project. In Agile, sprint by sprint, we develop, we design, and we release the application. Correct now? So after every sprint, user acceptance happen. But in waterfall, it is only at the end. Okay, whenever we are delivering the product to the particular customer, at that time only user acceptance happen. So these are the common interview questions that you need to remember. Difference between agile, waterfall, nothing but traditional and the sequential approach. Correct? Or we can say incremental approach. Fine. Then the very common thing, we have completed all the methodologies. But what's your role as a tester in agile or even in different methodology? What is your role? Please understand. As a software tester, whenever you are working as a manual tester, you don't need to write any programming. You don't need to have any programming skill, because manual testing, it is completely based on certain process. So you need to understand task, process, responsibility. That's it. So very first, you can start with waterfall, agile, V, any methodology. But these roles, responsibilities are almost common. See, we have to first understand, implement, and update test strategy. Okay, very first, you need to understand the given user stories, given requirement. Test manager is responsible to design strategy and the plan for a complete process, right? Measuring the test report, see, measuring and reporting test coverage across all applicable coverage dimension, ensuring that proper use of testing tool. So that's a part of again test planning. So where test planning, it is a responsibility of a test manager. Again in agile, configuring, using, managing some test environment, prepare some test data, reporting defect, working with the team to resolve them. Because in agile we do collaborative work. So developer tester work together. But as a tester, what's your role? Identify the requirement, understand it, start writing your test cases. If you are doing automation also, start preparing your script, and then you can validate and execute through that particular application. If you found any defect, report the same to developer, and then developer fix it. Clear? Again, after fixing, we will continue our task. Ensuring that appropriate testing tasks are scheduled during the release and iteration planning, and even actively collaborating with developer and even business stakeholder to clarify requirement, especially in the term of testability, consistent consistency, and the completeness. So yes, guys, sometimes there might be the problem with the requirement, and maybe you are not clear. What you can do in that case, you can directly discuss with the customer representative. Yes, you can schedule a call, you can discuss that, okay, what is this requirement? And based on that, what you have understood and what the point is not clear to you, you can discuss with that customer representative. So stakeholders are nothing but who? Business stakeholder is like a partner, we can say. Customer is the main entity. But maybe possibility customer have some other partners too, right? So that we can call in technical word business stakeholders. So yes, you can constantly work with your team, and then if you have any issue with the requirement, any process, you can discuss within that team. So in general, as a tester, you'll be working like this. Understand requirement, prepare test cases. Whenever software ready from the developer side, test it, identify defect, log it, again ask developer to fix it. Once developer fix the defect, we will continue with the retesting, regression testing process. Okay, so these are the common role responsibilities for a software tester. Now, guys, these are the interview questions related to this module. You need to prepare this in your either notebook or follow some Word document and share. Okay. So, what are the different phases in SDLC? What is the strength point of waterfall? When to use spiral? Advantages of incremental? Explain V model, benefits of V. What is weakness of Agile? And what is Scrum methodology used in Agile software development? So you need to prepare these questions along with your answers in your own words. Okay. so that you will understand and you will prepare also for the module. So basically, so far we have completed software development, how the application get developed, what are the basic testing fundamentals, right? That we have seen. Now it is time to start with, see, we have covered three topics: fundamental, testing principle, and development cycle. Today, I will be starting with one more interesting process, which is called software testing life cycle. Okay. So yes, we need to understand like a development cycle where we have a multiple phases. See, development cycle and testing cycle, what is the difference? The first point, testing cycle defines testing process through which you can test the software application. But development cycle defines the process through which you can design, develop, and test software application. First point, in SDLC, we have 6 phases. Remember, in SDLC, we have 6 phases available. Similarly, in STLC, which is software testing life cycle, we have 6 phases together. Correct? So today, like in previous session, we have discussed about the development, where design team, development team, everybody is involved. Now it is the only and only responsibility of a QA. Only tester is involved in testing life cycle. But then what is your role? How exactly we test the life cycle or complete software application? Let's see. So very first, guys, what is software testing life cycle? Yes, it is a process. It is a process which is used to test the software and ensure that quality standards are met. STLC, it is a sequence of activity which carried out by the testing team from the beginning of the project till the end of the project. So basically, you should start testing right from the requirement, and yes, you should continue testing till the release. So good software tester is expected to have good knowledge on STLC life cycle and even its activity, because that is your main role. So it is not a single activity, but it consists many different activities and which are executed to achieve a good quality product. So guys, in STLC, we have a 6 phases to be discussed. First phase, first is all about, in development we do, I mean, BA is responsible to prepare or, prepare the document and collect the requirement. So phase was in SDLC, requirement gathering and analysis. Here in software testing, we have to start with requirement analysis. So do remember, don't answer requirement gathering is the first phase. No. In software testing life cycle, you are responsible to understand given requirement, given stories by that client. So we do requirement analysis, obviously to understand the requirement, what document you follow. So we use SRS document to understand requirement given by the customer. See, whenever BA creates a document, so BA initially creates a draft only. Based on that draft, where we conduct review. Okay, here we do review. We understand the entire requirement. If you found any problem in that, you can ask a BA to update it. So once draft is okay, then final documents will be created, that is SRS. So this SRS document you are using to understand given requirement of the customer. Okay, so SRS contains only requirement information. But only this is not enough to understand requirement, guys. Along with the requirement, along with the document where the requirements are written, you will be getting some wireframes for your project. The wireframe of the project means what? A basic prototype, or you can just say basic design document you will get, look and feel, where you will understand how the application will be implemented. So example, we have a requirement, let's say there is a login functionality. So you will get a basic UI mockup, means how the form in future, whenever it will develop by developer, how it will look. That basic structure you will be getting. Like somewhere there are two text boxes, one button, okay, is required for login. So this basic design, which is in technical word, we can call wireframe. So absolutely, not only requirement, but you will get some basic design, basic prototype, which is just a dummy. Okay, the final application will look like this. And by referring this documentation, it is very easy. to understand the requirement of the customer, correct? So the point to be noted, based on the requirement given by the customer, we do analysis, we do understand the customer expectation, and obviously only requirement. Along with that, you will be getting some wireframe documentation related to project, and you do study that, right? So you do analysis of those requirement to understand the flow. Now, once understanding is done, okay, this is all about requirement only. But how you will get to know that? You are a part of which team? You guys are doing like functional testing, non-functional testing, black box testing, white box testing, which type to follow? Is there any risk available in your project? When to start, when to stop, which tool to be follow to complete your entire software testing? Where you will get this testing related, information. So basically what happened, requirement gathering or requirement analysis phase, where the gathered requirement you will understand. Okay, the requirement gathering done by the BA. But those requirement BA will share you with you, yes, in the form of document, and that you will understood. But only requirement are not enough. So guys, we have a test manager. Test manager is responsible to prepare test planning. So second phase is test planning. In short, here you will get a document, which is a very standard document, which is called test plan document. So test planning done by the test manager, first point. Test manager is responsible to prepare a plan document where they will simple describe roadmap for testing activities. Guys, what is your software application? How many modules are there? How many team member they simple perform manual testing, automation testing? What environment you need for testing? Are you going to use any automation tool? Every detail. Or is there any risk available in the project? Every detail you will get in this plan document. Now think, if you already aware, you are a part of XYZ team and you will be doing black box testing. Okay, you will be starting the testing maybe at this particular date and you'll be ending on XYZ date. Then guys, it is very easy to follow the plan and complete the process within or as per the plan only. So yes, as a tester, you will be getting requirement to understand. Second, you will be getting test plan document from your manager, and by following that planning, yes, here come your activity start. The very first, you need to understand requirement, you need to understand plan prepared by the manager. Third point, it's all about test design. This is our phase where the tester can first start designing the project. Okay, how we can design it and what is the role. In test design phase, 4 steps you need to perform. Okay, you guys are responsible to very first test, prepare test scenarios. Okay, so guys, one by one, let me explain what is this. Very first, in test design phase, you are responsible to prepare the scenario. Scenario, as I told you, it always talks about what to test from the software application. So tomorrow, if you have any application for testing, what you guys are going to do? Just list out what you can test from that application. So example, now let me open. Okay, I have opened this application. And if I ask you, test this, can you tell me what exactly you can test from this application? Hmm. Can you list out some scenario? So guys, scenario writing is very simple. Whatever you can see, whatever high level feature you can observe from this application, everything you can test. Example, see, there is a small trick. Whenever any application you have to always start from top to bottom, left to right. First rule, left to right, top to bottom. Means here in this application, what I can test? Okay, this is, you can see web application, right? So for web application, first of all, I will test URL is working. Second, I will test customer service, that's the logo. I will test search functionality is working. I will test there is a link, sign in link, is it working? I will test some documentation is displayed or not on that page. Simple. So currently for this application, whatever you can test and whenever you list out that, that is called test scenario writing. Okay, please, this is your technical part. If you are not clear, please ask me the query. Okay, somewhere see. Now I'm showing you this form. And if I ask you test it, what you can test from this? Again, you have to start from top to bottom, left to right. Here also customer service logo we can test. Search functionality we can test. Sign in. Again, I'm getting that sign in link. Okay. And which is actually defect. It should not be there. Are you getting my point? So this is the defect. Sign in link should be available on the home page. It should not available inside the login form. But here I can test login functionality. That is it, user is able to enter valid email ID, valid password, user is able to check the checkbox, and user is able to click on the button. So basically, scenario writing is nothing but what to test from that software application. When you list out that thing, that is called scenario writing. So we'll be learning in a practical part, okay, how to prepare scenarios and all. But for now, understand the process. So very first, you just need to list out, okay, test login, test button, test any particular link, whatever it is. And then if I just write, okay, fine, test login. So guys, there can be two scenarios now. First scenario, test login with valid data, correct? And second scenario, I can test login with invalid data. So first of all, what I have written, this is my scenario. But whenever you are just implementing that, how to conduct that testing means, okay, fine, here I have written test login with valid data, but how to test it and where you are going to describe it. So for that, you are responsible to prepare test case. So always remember, test case describe how to test any functionality or any particular requirement of the customer. So guys, to test the login with valid data, I need to mention few points. Like first of all, what is the objective of this current test? Is it I'm doing UI testing? Is it I'm doing functional testing? So testing type you need to mention. Then it is important to know what precondition I need to follow. Sometimes there is a requirement now. When user can log in, if the user is registered, then only user can log in. So that precondition also you can describe. Then you need to write the very important topic steps. How many steps you are going to follow just to complete or test that login functionality. So I will be doing 3 steps. Enter valid username, enter valid password, and click on the button. Then somewhere when I write enter something, okay, enter password or enter username. So guys, you need to understand how to prepare a test data. So basically here third step is test data preparation. It is also responsibility of a tester. So how you will prepare test data? Guys, there are 2 points to understand. Somewhere data is given by the customer. Okay, then that data is called real data. But somewhere data is a synthetic data. What is synthetic data? Let me write again. See this. Please understand real data means which is given by the customer. But synthetic means you need to prepare. Example, there is a form and there is a requirement. Username should be 4 to 10 character long. In that case, there is range given, not data is given. So by understanding the given requirement, you need to prepare your own data set. Example, 4 to 10 character means I will be writing, let's say, Ajit. Okay, Ajit. You can say it is a 4 character. So I'm expecting this should be accepted. Somewhere character is given, so you can test now. If anybody enters 1, 2, 3, 4, it should not be accepted. Are you getting my point? So real data means data given by the customer, but synthetic means you need to prepare your own data set. And let me show you example. So somewhere here, I'll open GitHub. Okay, for best example, let me show you GitHub account. So when you go to this GitHub and if you try to go sign up functionality, okay, just have a look. I want to show you the requirement actually. So here I will be writing, let's say Priyanka Selenium March 24 at the rate Gmail, okay, .com. Suppose I have entered this email, okay. Now see, whenever I try to create a password, okay, and if I just say continue, So I'm just getting here some problem. See, okay, currently let me remove this. Okay, and I have written something. So guys, you can see I'm getting requirement here for password. Can you observe? Make sure that password should be 15 characters or at least 8 character, including numbers and lowercase letter. Are you understanding what is the requirement given? So here, how you will prepare your password? Is it password data given by the customer? No, right? Somewhere you can see this type of application. Example, if I open Orange HRM, okay? Let me show you Orange HRM demo application and just have a look. Here, if you observe, the data is given. By default, data is given by the customer that this is the username, this is the password. But in this GitHub account, you can see the only requirement is given. Make sure that your password is 8 to 15 character long, or either 8 character or either 15 character. And it must include what? Number and lowercase letter. So what is this? You need to understand based on this. Okay, you need to prepare your own set of test data. Everybody clear? So test data preparation, it depends on your requirement. What requirement you are testing. So yes, as a tester, you are responsible to prepare a test data and maintain the same. So guys, basically what's your role? Understand requirement, understand plan, prepare scenario, prepare test cases, maintain test data whenever it required for testing that functionality. And finally, you are responsible to prepare RTM. Now RTM stand for requirement traceability matrix. Everybody focus on requirement traceability matrix. Now what is this? Let me explain. So what happened, it is a document. At the end of the test case writing, you are going to prepare this document, which will help you to understand tracking. So for every requirement, how many test case you have prepared. So it is a mapping between test case and the requirement. Basically, requirement traceability matrix will be learning separately. But still, let me explain here what is RTM. So for RTM, you can just understand RTM, which is requirement traceability matrix. RTM, which is requirement traceability matrix, it is actually requirement and test case mapping. Okay. So mapping means what? Somewhere suppose 3 requirements given to me by my client. Okay. So I will be working on 3 requirement and I will be preparing some test cases. Once my process is completed, suppose I have completed my test case writing, then at the end, I need to prepare this document. So what you will be writing here? For requirement number 1, how many test cases you have written, you need to map here. Suppose I have prepared total test cases 10. Then I will be mapping. Okay, for requirement number 1, I prepare test case number 1, test case number 2, test case number 3. Okay. Then I have to maintain out of 10, how many test cases you have prepared for requirement number 2. Okay. I have written test case number 4, test case number 5, test case number 6. And then I have noticed that for requirement number 3, remaining test case I have prepared test case 7, test case 8, test case 9, and test case 10. So it is just a requirement test case mapping. What will happen with this? What is the purpose of this mapping? So this mapping will help you to track. First of all, the very important, you guys are able to track your test cases with requirement and requirement with test cases. You will understand coverage. How much requirement you have actually covered. Suppose tomorrow, one more requirement assigned to me. And then out of 10, later I noticed that there is no test case written for requirement number 4. Then any missing requirement is there, you can immediately track it. You can immediately prepare certain test cases for that. So basically for coverage, you will be preparing RTM. For tracking, you will prepare RTM. Example, tomorrow you have done execution also and you got certain defect. Suppose I got defect in test case number 5. Then based on test case number 5, I can easily track that in which requirement I found a defect, requirement number 2. Are you getting my point? One more example. Suppose tomorrow your customer changed the requirement. Okay, we did testing, but now customer asks me, okay, please change, please add some new feature in requirement number 3. So whenever any requirement get updated, immediately you should update what? All the related test cases now. Do you remember? Be aware of pesticide paradox. Do not repeat same test case again and again. Whenever there are changes, update. So guys, if my requirement got changed itself, I need to update all the test cases. And this is called RTM. So when you complete test case writing in the same design phase itself, you are responsible to prepare RTM, guys. So here you need to just understand RTM is nothing but requirement traceability matrix, which help you for coverage purpose. You can track number of test cases, number of defect found in that particular test cases. So basically requirement and test case mapping, you guys are able to maintain in this RTM. And I hope it is clear. Okay, few points only because we'll be learning it separately. So at that time, I will cover types of RTM and everything. But for now, just remember what is RTM. So it is just a document. Okay, so basically see, you will understand requirement plan by referring this document. You will prepare these things: scenario writing, test case writing, data preparation, and RTM. Okay, only this is enough? No. Test case writing is not enough. Execution is also important. So we have fourth phase. What is this fourth phase? Says that after test design, we need to go for execution. But before execution, there is a one more phase, which is called test implementation. Guys, what is implementation? In test implementation, you will check readiness, okay, readiness of environment. So whether your environment, okay, it is ready for testing, that you will test. Basically, is your software is developed? First of all, is your software is developed? Why we need to test that? If your software is not developed, how you can perform execution? Correct? So check that whether software is developed, test cases are ready, check that data is ready. Somewhere you need certain tool. The tool is ready. So basically, before execution, we need to make sure that environment is ready for execution. Whenever your testing environment is ready, then guys, we can go for test execution phase. Next phase is what? Test execution, where you will do execution of your test cases. Means what? Whatever you have written, apply it on software and check it whether it is working as per the expectation. So in execution phase, whenever you execute it, you will get three status. Either your test will get pass, or your test will get fail, or if you notice any big defect, that means anything which is failing or which is not allow you to test further testing process, or which not allow you to continue further testing process, then we can call it as block status. Okay. So when the test case will pass, whenever expected result and actual result both are same, then test will pass. If expected result, okay, expected result and actual result both are not the same, then it will fail. But when it will block, whenever something which is a major issue, which will not allow continue further testing process, there we can call it as block status. So only status you are writing, so only you are doing execution and maintaining status? No. Whenever execution is complete, whatever number of test cases got failed, or example, any test case got blocked, immediately you can report the same. So actual phase is test execution and bug reporting. So here we prepare defect report or any bug report, and we send that document to the developer for fixing purpose. And then development life cycle goes on. Means in software testing field, in this manual testing, you need to understand three life cycle. Development, which we have seen. Today we are learning software testing life cycle. In the future classes, we'll be covering defect life cycle. But when the life cycle begin, when you prepare a defect report and when you send it to developer for fixing purpose, then defect life cycle begin. And after defect life cycle, once you get that defect get closed and everything, then finally we can do test closure. So test closure, let me write again, test closure, that's the last phase. Okay, where we can check all the process, all the log defect got closed, right, by the developer. So basically developer have properly fixed the defect, right? All the test cases executed, every report, everything is ready. Then finally we can release that product to the customer, correct now? So when the testing life cycle end and how the testing life cycle end, whenever all the process completed, reports, everything is ready, then only life cycle will end. So how many phases are there in software testing life cycle? Again, a 6 phases. But you need to remember this is your main role. Requirement analysis, test planning, test design, where design is divided into 4 phases: test scenario preparation, test case writing, data preparation, RTM preparation. Then we can go for implementation where we can check environment is ready or not. If environment is ready, then only we can go for execution and bug reporting. And finally, we will close the life cycle. The software testing, it is a process which will help you to test the entire application with following some phases. So what are those? These are the phases: requirement analysis, planning, design, implementation, test execution, bug reporting, and last one is closure. Let's see one by one. What do you mean by requirement analysis? So basically in this phase, quality assurance team understand the requirement. That means what is to be tested. If anything is missing or not understandable, then quality team meets the stakeholder to better understand detailed knowledge of requirement. Means somewhere if you face the problem and you are not clear with the requirement, you can discuss with the product owner, even your BA, or even your stakeholder, customer side representative, and you can have a knowledge on that, you can gain a knowledge on that requirement, and then you can start testing. Second phase is what? Test planning. Test planning is the most efficient phase for software testing life cycle, where all plans are detailedly defined by the test manager. So guys, in this phase, test manager of the testing team calculates estimate effort, cost, everything related to testing work. And this phase actually gets started whenever requirement gathering phase is completed. So for now, just understand planning is nothing but roadmap. Okay, it's a roadmap for testing activity. So how many member, okay, how they start the testing process, when to start, when to stop, even what is the risk in the particular that particular project, even how many documentations you are expected, or you are you need to prepare, complete that process. Like you'll be writing test case document, execution report, summary report, defect report. So these things are already or previously defined in the planning document. So plan is a roadmap for testing activity. So very first you need to understand given requirement. You need to understand planning which is done by the manager, and then you can start your actual work. Nothing but design phase. See this. In design phase, testing team noted down the detailed scenarios, test cases. The scenario always talk what to test, and test case talks about how to test. Remember. Then testing team also prepare required test data for the testing. And when test cases are prepared and they are reviewed by the quality assurance team, then to check coverage for testing, team prepare RTM, which is called requirement traceability matrix. So this is your third phase where 4 different steps actually we are doing. What are in short? Scenario writing, test case writing, data preparation, and last one is RTM preparation. Once design phase is completed, this is test design. Whenever design phase is completed, we go for next phase, test implementation, where actually environment setup we do. So here we need to check that whether environment is ready. So test environment decide actually the condition on which software is actually tested. So guys, in this phase, you need to make sure that setup, installation process of software or hardware which is required for testing the application, everything is available. First of all, application should be developed by developer. Environment, whatever hardware, software support, any special tool you need, that installation, everything is ready, then only we can complete execution. So in this integration, sometimes we use third-party applications just to complete our project. So definitely, guys, if you need any expector or external tool, right, to complete the testing process, then that also you need to check that whether it is ready. Even you can create test suite. Now the new term, test suite means what? Do remember, test suite, it is nothing but collection of test cases. Okay, so test suite from the test procedure, and if any automated script is required for a project, you have to make sure that script is also ready. So basically implementation, it is all about environment setup. Okay, so we have completed suppose test cases, environment is also ready, then we can go for execution and see this execution phase. In this, after test case development and environment setup, test case execution is ready, I mean environment for execution is ready, then only execution phase gets started. In this phase, testing teams start executing test cases based on the prepared test cases. Then after execution, you need to log the outcome. So that can be pass, fail or block. Correct? Whenever expected result, actual result is same. Suppose means what? I'm expecting there should be logo available in blue color. And if logo is same color, blue color only, then we can make it pass. I'm expecting logo should be available blue color, but what I found, there is a red color logo available. Then I will make it fail. Correct? But block means I'm opening the application, immediately it get crash. So you are not able to test further process. So immediately the test case I will block, I mean that feature I will block, and immediately I will ask a developer to fix it. Because unless and until developer fix it, I will not able to proceed, right? So these three status you can have. So once you execute, you need to put either pass, fail or block. Whenever it is completed, whatever failed test case you found, you can prepare defect report based on the failure. And then the report you can send to the developer team. So finally, defect report gets sent to the developer team, and there come bug life cycle or defect life cycle get begin. So this is a life cycle where from new defect to close a defect, okay, till the closing, developer tester have certain process and activity. So which we will cover later because it is not required or expected to explain in testing life cycle. We are responsible to create a report and ask a developer to fix it. That's it. So we are just sending report. After that, what is the last phase? Closure. Closure, when you close the process. So once everything is completed, then only. Means what? See, checking whether all defect report are closed. Means suppose in report I mentioned 5 defects. 5 defects should be closed. Entering change request product backlog items for any defect that remain unresolved at the end of the test execution. Make sure that everything is properly closed. Then you have to create summary report related to the process to be communicated with the stakeholder. Then somewhere what we do, we hand over testware. Do you remember what is testware? Testing related documentation means your test case report, execution report, defect report, somewhere we can handing over to the maintenance team or any project team, or sometimes we can share with the customer also, okay, who could have a benefit from the same. Again, analyzing lesson learned for the completed test activity and determine changes whatever needed for a future iteration, release or a project. Means follow the life cycle, and if you face certain issues in the previous cycle, same issues should not repeat in the next cycle. And for that reason, we can analyze lesson, learn from that previous process, and then you can close the life cycle. So I hope you are clear with software testing life cycle. There are 6 phases, and this is how you need to answer. And here you have an interview question for this module. What is STLC? Different phases in STLC. What is test design phase of STLC? People might ask you, what is the difference in test design and test execution phase? Even what is planning? And what is the difference between software testing life cycle and software development life cycle? So according to that, you need to prepare your answers. And I hope this point is clear to everybody. Yeah?
Yes.
Okay, so go for it. read document properly, which I have already shared. Still, you have any kind of question to be asked, you can ask me in the next session. And
Uh,
even, yeah, go ahead.
Question. So, who is responsible for the environment setup?
Okay. Environment setup, it's a responsibility. First of all, you are responsible to check that whether environment is ready or not. Okay. The first point is what? Because we are going to complete the testing process. Suppose somewhere, again, there are different aspects. Somewhere in some organization, if the small scale industry it is, okay, and you are doing testing over there. So somewhere with limited resources, we can complete the whole process. Means you are the only one person who is doing, let's say, requirement analysis. Even you are writing your test case, and even you are the same person who is executing the test cases. Correct. So somewhere environment related work, like whether environment is ready or not, that confirmation, it's responsibility of you only. Somewhere we have some operational team, okay, those are responsible to make sure that whatever you need, whether it is implemented and prepared in the organization. So again, there are different aspects as per the organization type. Somewhere it is a large scale industry, there you are not responsible to check that environment is ready, we have a DevOps team over there. Correct. Operational team, those are responsible to making sure that whatever you need, everything is implemented and everything is ready or not. Clear?
Yes, but let's say development team developer is developing the code. So, he
Right.
will be testing. He will be testing his code. So the
Right.
development, so the server or the environment will be already set up
Hmm, correct.
somewhere,
But
a
yeah,
common server.
correct. So again, here the same point now. Like example, in this process, whose question it is, Pawan, right?
Yes.
Huh. So Pawan, in this case, there is a one more point to be added. Like whenever developer is developing and testing it, so what developer is testing? Developer is not testing the full functionality. As I told you, whenever developer tests, developer perform only unit testing. Whatever code he prepare, developer only tests whether code is working or not. But somewhere that completed functionality, whenever you want to test, and if you need something external thing, like suppose example, I'm doing manual testing, but to complete the manual testing process, I need certain tool for reporting to. So what I'm doing, I'm manually executing the application, but I will be maintaining reports in some different tool. So whether that tool is ready or not, that's either your responsibility or a specialized team is there, like operational DevOps team, they will take care. Whatever you need, whether it is ready or not. But when it comes to the developer, developer is not responsible to check that full software or full environment is ready. Are you getting my point? Because developer is only responsible for unit testing, not for complete software testing. Got it? So suppose example, as a developer, I have written my code in Java. I mean Java programming and in Eclipse. What I can check in Eclipse whether my execution, my code is working. But suppose I have implemented web application. I need to make sure that now whether web application working through the server and properly I'm getting response. So development is my role. But how exactly and from which server we are executing it, that is a responsibility of that operational team. Okay, whether that environment is ready or not for execution. Got it? And again, there are two more different aspect actually. See, if you are doing agile work, like in agile, it's not like that developer is developing first and then you are testing it. Agile is what? At the same time. Means whenever developer developed it, immediately you can test that functionality. So there is a collaboration work. There we generally follow. We use same environment. So environment is already ready and on that we can complete the whole process. But that is only possible in case of agile. Correct now? Because you are doing collaboration work over there. Developer tester works together. In that case, your point is valid, right?
Yes.
Right. So in general, you need to explain in this way only that we have a different phases in software testing life cycle. Very first, we do analysis. We understand the plan and then we design certain process like scenario, test case, RTM, data and all. Then you have to make sure that environment is also ready. Then only we can go for execution, right? So whenever environment is nothing but hardware, software need, sometimes we need some external tool for a testing. Then if everything is ready, then only we can continue with the execution process, right? Okay. Any other query? Fine. So far, how many modules we have completed? We have completed, I think, total 5 modules. Okay, 4, right? Tomorrow I will be starting with verification. Verification, it's all about, guys, now we are actually learning software testing types. And let me tell you, when I start with validation, I will be starting test case writing too. Because as per the type, I will show you how you guys are able to prepare your test cases. So do not miss the session. Okay, starting from validation. Verification, okay, it's theory again because it's related to process. Here we don't, or here we need to understand only like how you review any document. So verification is static testing. But at the time of validation, as per the type, you need to understand how we prepare test cases for the same. Clear? So once we start with the level, and after when we start with system level, okay, system level, system testing, we can say, then I will be starting with the test case writing point. So I will be covering scenarios, test cases, side by side theory plus side by side practical. So you will understand. Like we have a type na smoke testing. Then how we simply prepare smoke test case in the real time. What is functional testing? Again, in functional, we have lot of type. UI testing, performance testing, right? So you need to understand how we prepare test cases. So please do not miss the sessions now because we have few sessions which are very much important to know, like verification, validation, methods of testing, important topic, because here you will understand different test case design techniques, and based on that you will prepare your test cases. And then we have to discuss about this plan. See, today we have discussed now test planning. So what is plan and how the manager prepares plan, that I will cover here. Okay. And then we have a module to be covered, that test case management and defect management. And then you have introduction for mobile application, web application, which we are learning practically too. So this is how the entire theoretical or manual testing syllabus it is. So guys, tomorrow what I will do, first read all the documents till the testing life cycle. I will be taking tomorrow some interview questions. I mean some ISTQB questions based on development cycle. So at least read this third module properly. Tomorrow we have discussion first for these questions, and then I will start with the next module. Okay, fine. So let's stop the session. Bye everyone. Take care. Thank you. And we will continue rest of the topics again from tomorrow. Bye everyone.
Bye, ma'am.